Okay, I get calls all the time, frustrated homeowners with a ton of complaints. And one of their biggest issues is that they feel they are not being listened to. They are being ignored by the entities that are supposedly designed to help them with their complaints. What entities would that be? Well, there's the police. Everybody wants the police involved when they think that something criminal is occurring. Then there's the state entity that investigates violations of the HOA or condo statute in your state. In Florida, that's the DBPR. And then there are attorneys, right? Some of the callers I get have reached out to lots and lots of attorneys, and the attorneys won't answer their questions or won't be interested in their case. And there are reasons for all of this. There's a fourth group that complainants should keep in mind, and that is their fellow neighbors, the fellow owners in the association. So let's go to number one, the police. A lot of times what I get is very complicated complaints with a lot of passion. And there is a lot of inner hunches and feelings, right? So we're talking about emotions and feelings, and people feel that something wrong is occurring in their association. And they could be right. But when you're going to the police because you have a hunch, you need more than that. You need to articulate to the Economic Crimes Department or whoever you're going to what you believe is happening, right? So you can say, hey, there's fraud, and I believe that because of XYZ documents I found. So there's always going to be some homework involved on your end in getting documents and reviewing financials and looking at things so you can articulate to that police entity, right? You also have to make sure that that police entity has jurisdiction as to the complaint you're making. So police look into crimes, they don't look into civil problems. So if you are renting your unit and the association denied the renter, and it's because of procedure and a civil issue within the association, the police don't look into that, okay? You can't go tell the police, hey, they discriminated, they did all this. You're gonna have to go to a different entity for that. The second entity they want is the state to investigate violations. Well, they too need an articulation. In Florida, the DBPR has a form to file complaints, and every complaint needs a separate form. You need to fill it out, take your time, put in a lot of details. If you have a valid complaint, they will be involved. For example, the DBPR in Florida handles complaints of election fraud, or when there are documents missing online and it's required to be online, when notices aren't posted within the 48-hour requirement. Those are items, administrative violations that the DBPR will be involved in if you go through their process. Do not call them and expect a team of investigators to come help you. Go through their process. The next one is attorneys, right? I get complaints that folks go to an attorney or a few attorneys and they won't take their case, or, oh my God, it's so much money. Well, attorneys normally don't investigate, right? They answer questions. I'm pretty sure just about any attorney, if you had a specific problem and you wanted a specific answer, they will charge you hourly to answer that. But they tend not to be proactively involved in investigating because they too may not have the jurisdiction to ask certain questions, and they know that maybe you're going to be dealing with a $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 retainer bill invoice for these legal services. And most complainants get turned off by that and immediately turn away, because most complainants feel that their complaint is so important that they need immediate attention and at no cost. The fourth group that you need to consider articulating your complaint to is your fellow neighbors. So I get complaints all the time. And, I ask them, how many units are in your building? And they'll say 400. And then I'll ask them, well, how many of your neighbors, your 399 neighbors, are supporting you in these allegations and these concerns? And I'll say, well, 3 or 4. Well, that's not a whole lot of people, okay? That's what 1%? You're gonna need to convince your fellow neighbors that your complaint is valid. And usually you're gonna want 20, 30% of people on your side. If not, this could be a huge waste of time for you. Among those supporters, and to include yourself if you're the main complainant, is to be willing to serve on the board. If what you want is change and you feel your board members are not going to change or they're stuck in their ways, you need to be ready to jump up and have a supporting friend or two neighbor that's going to serve with you at least a year or two so that you can implement the change you want, right? Gandhi says, be the change you wish to see. Well, you must be willing to do it. And if not, you better find some people that are, so that when the current board steps down or is recalled, or if something horrible happens and the police are involved, somebody needs to serve. If not, you're going to go into receivership. So there are those 4 groups of people: the police, the state, attorneys, and your neighbors, that you're going to need to do some homework for and articulate your complaint. Is your complaint a civil problem? Is it an administrative violation? Or is it a crime? It could be all of those things. And at which time, all those entities will come together and each handle their part and eventually come up with a real big case. That is rare, okay? I will maintain that most board members want to do well for the community. They want to do good. They simply just don't have the education or the resources to do that. So I hope I've answered your main question as to why your complaint is being ignored. If you need me to help you clarify your complaint, especially if you're in Florida, but I work nationwide, go to my website, condodetective.com or HOApolice.com. I have tons of videos and articles there that could help you begin to understand how to articulate certain violations. Is it a crime? Is it an industry violation? Is it an accounting standard violation? Okay, are you dealing with a problem where vendors need to be vetted better? These are all important things that you need to keep in mind and be able to articulate. It's kind of what I do as a preliminary phase 1 type of situation when I have a very emotional complainant client. Phase 2 obviously is a little bit more investigative and deep, but please use these free resources. I have articles, I have videos, condodetective.com. Go there, watch the videos, share them with your neighbors so they too begin to understand what it is you're trying to communicate, okay? I hope to hear from you. Email me, please. Oh, if you're watching this on YouTube, please click like, hit share, and please hit subscribe. That would really help me out. I provide this information for free, and the best way you can help me is by clicking like and share and subscribe. Okay? Condodetective.com. Hope to hear from you. Take care.